Hello, everyone. Welcome to another horrific review. I nearly forgot to speak there. I was starting to daydream. Um, watched this one last night. Thought I'd have a wee chat about it. Found this on Netflix. Just like I said, I'm looking for random movies now. Try not to go for any sort of pattern because I'm a bit of a creature of habit. I stick to what I know and what I like, and I'm trying to expand myself out to just pick up a random movie that would maybe not look at before and just go, right, I'm doing that one. And that's kind of how this review series is going. So this one, is the premise of the story is it's based on an American urban legend called the Slender Man. Based in a small town in Massachusetts, four friends, Ren, Haley, Knudsen, Chloe, and Katie Jensen, summon the Slender Man. The way they do this, it's via an online video to watch, so it's very reminiscent of The Ring, that kind of thing, and almost Candyman vibe. So if you call out to the entity, they'll come to you. Standard kind of stuff. Not my cup of tea, but this is aimed at a younger audience, so I'm not going to be too hard on it because I kind of see what the movie's not aimed for me. I'm a bit old in the tooth, long in the tooth, so to speak, to watch this. So this is more for young audience, teenage, people maybe starting out in the horror and wanting to not just watch a monster movie, but something a bit more suspense. With that being said, this is like an hour 45 minutes long. Could have been done with like half an hour shorter than what it was. It's kind of stretched out a bit, which then removes a lot of the suspense. A lot of time spent with these, and I'll give the movie its props. It's a high school / teenage film that doesn't use 30-year-old actors. So they actually use teenagers in this, so that's cool. Actually giving teenagers a job. So there you go. Because there's nothing really. I used to have a complex. I know I've talked about this before, but when you watched American like teen dramas and stuff when you were a kid, and you saw all these like fully developed teenagers, you started getting a complex about yourself, going, "My bits haven't grown that much. What's wrong with me? Is there something in the water over that side of the world?" And then as you get older, you realize that they use adult actors because, especially in horror, there's things that you can't do with kids, all that kind of stuff, which is fair enough. We've talked about kids in movies before and how it's it's a dicey thing to do, and you have to be careful and protective. So I get it. But at the same time, when they're hiring like 30 people in their 30s to play 15-year-olds, it's a bit weird. So you gotta, everything's about balance. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent because, to be honest, there's not much of a plot to this movie to go on about. Starts off, like I said, group of girls doing group of girl things, group of boys doing group of boy things, all that kind of stuff. The boys are going off to do a secret thing with the girls. The girls, as usual, want to know what the boys are doing, blah, blah, blah. All that kind of thing. It turns out one of them lets it slip that they're going to summon the Slender Man. So this has been a thing that's been going on like for ages. That's it. That's essentially the plot. So the girls get together and decide. Katie's saying a pivot character in this to go to her house because her father's an alcoholic. He's passed out on the sofa, so they basically can do what they want. They're down, they're drinking, they're hanging out. Then decided they're going to do this. And essentially what they do is they pull up a laptop, turn down the lights, and then they watch this video. Now, the video is very Ring-esque. It's got that sort of imagery, just not as good. I mean? The Ring and Reiku, the original Japanese version, that did it much better. But it's a sort of low middle budget movie aimed at young adults, so they're not going to go very in depth. It's, and unlike The Ring, there's no mystery to solve. It's just a series of images and stuff. And the idea is that if you watch the video, close your eyes, and you want the Slender Man to take you, you call out, mentally, and then he comes. So this happens. Katie goes missing the next day. They go on a school trip to a cemetery because that happens a lot. Must be an American thing. But yeah, school trip to a cemetery. And then Katie goes missing. And then that's basically what the rest of the plot revolves around, is Katie being missing and the rest of the girls trying to basically find out what happened. Like I said, this is where it really slows down. The pace is very, very slow. That's where it kind of loses me. Because actually it starts off pretty decent up to that point where Katie goes missing. It's actually pretty well placed. And like I said, it's even for a younger audience, so you kind of have to have that in your mind when you go to watch it. That's perfectly fine. Gets up to that point, Katie goes missing, and then it just drags. That's my main complaint, is this just takes ages to go anywhere, and it goes nowhere a lot of the times. Basically, you've got the girls going around in circles. Katie's father randomly turns up at, I think it's Ren's house, is the other, his character takes over from Katie, as the lead, trying to find out what happens. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I don't hate it. You know what I mean? I don't hate it. I understand the audience it's for. I made a decent enough stab. Even the special effects aren't horrendous. They're basic, but they're not horrible. You know what I mean? There's no cringe moments in this. I'll give it that for the movie. Like, you're not watching this. The dialogue's pretty decent. We can give it that. Like, actually, you get the impression that these are teenagers that have been traumatized by the loss of one of their friends and not knowing exactly what's happening, and they're dealing with it in a childish way, as kids do. Now, a complaint would be that the kids kind of run about doing whatever they want, especially after such an event happening. But I think that's also a reflection of the town they live in, because they always talk about wanting to leave. It's a small town, no prospects. Like Katie's father's a perfect example. He's passed out drunk every night. No sense of hopelessness. So it makes sense why they'd reach out to an entity, because it's something. They're getting no satisfaction in their lives at that point, so they're looking for that supernatural type thing. They start doing a bit more research into the Slender Man legend to find out this has been going on a lot. And basically to invoke him is just to have him in your lives, apparently. That's basically it. Once you invoke this entity, it's coming for you. It wants you. They try to get Katie back. There's a ritual where the idea is that they offer up something to the Slender Man, supposedly personal. They'd read that. There's people kept documents. There's also like a dark web website. Don't understand the dark web. Never been on it. Never even tried. No interest. There's enough guff on the World Wide Web to satisfy me and keep me busy. Thinking of that stuff, but the kind of hint at the dark web type stuff, and the people have been saving and uploading videos, these sites, of various disappearances, and they're finding this is an ongoing theme. The jump scares, there's a lot of jump scares and sort of suspenseful music and sort of creepy moments, but because of the pacing of the movie, they don't land. That's kind of the problem. Like I said, if this was half an hour tighter, if they made it tighter, there'd actually a chance here for a real suspenseful movie, because there's no gore in this. It's not a gory movie. Some hints at it and stuff, but it's not, like I said, it's a young adult thing, so it's not really. I think it's rated 15, so you're not gonna get that, which is fair enough. Doesn't mean you can make a bad movie. I think they just maybe tightened up the suspense a bit, didn't drag it out as much. This would a lot better, but I'm starting to understand studios now a bit more. The director might have an idea. Like, the director 9 times out of 10 now doesn't even get a choice on the cast. The studio decides the cast for the movie. The director's like a supervisor, which is, I think, is what's destroying movies now. And there's too much of creation by committee and input from other entities. So this is kind of what they did here. I think the studio dictated it's going to be this length of time, and that's it. And that's basically it. It just drags on until sort of the climax, which is when Ren discovers that Katie took her sister out previously and had her involved in a ritual. So her younger sister gets caught up in it and ends up in the hospital. And then Ren decides that she's going to offer herself up personally to the Slender Man to save it. And then you start seeing when she makes that decision and she goes out to the woods. You see some of the imagery pop up, but it's not, like I said, it's they try to go along the theme of the ring, but it doesn't work because it didn't. If you think about that, every image in the ring had a specific meaning and was a puzzle in the piece of the puzzle and part of the mystery to solve about what happened. This doesn't have that. So you see, like a set of gates in the middle of nowhere. That signifies you're getting closer to his territory. She comes up to him, offers herself, then changes her mind, runs away, but gets captured, and that's it. And basically, then it goes into through the end credits to start showing cutscenes of the Legend of Slender Man happening all over the world in different languages and places and stuff, and translates a worldwide phenomenon. And that's pretty much the movie. Like I said, not much of a plot, not much to it. It's not aimed at me, so fair enough, I get it. Plot's too slow. Even being aimed at younger audience, especially younger audience, expects everything fast paced and flashing lights. I don't know if they'd enjoy it or not. Maybe they do. I didn't look up any reviews or anything for this movie. Like I said, I just plunked it on, went for it, and now I'm here. And that's really it. Didn't hate it. Will I watch it again? No. It's one of them ones I've seen it, done, move on. Would I say watch it? Yeah, give it a go. Like, honestly, you're not 100% wasting your time. It's something to popcorn flick. You can have it on the background, crack on doing stuff. I was painting some movie minis while I was doing this, so like I was one eye on the screen, one eye on something else. That's why I was kind of working with it, and that's it. Just run of the mill, out of the box horror movie. Just aimed at younger kids, so it's not super gory or anything, or the subject matter isn't too heavy. And I think I'll wrap it up there. Just keep it short and sweet because I'm just going to start filling up Dead Space now, just with a waffle. And there's not really much more to talk about this movie. Like I said, not too much to it. So if you decide to watch it, let me know in the comments. If you've already seen it, let me know what you think. Do you agree, disagree? what resonated with you? What turned you off? All that kind of good stuff. And keep an eye out on the channel. Going to try and do as many of these as possible when I get a moment, while I have time. And keep an eye on the rest of our segments. And until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.